Hey, everybody. Welcome to Meet the Grads. I'm Melinda Sandor. I am the host of the VA Connection, and I am thrilled to have these four lovely women with us today who are VA school graduates. We've been talking about all things VA school, and today we're going to hear their stories. We're going to hear about what their lives are like before they decided to become a VA. We're going to talk about, what their life looks like now, how, how this looks financially for them and all the things. So come on and have a seat and let's get going. So who would like to go first? Who would like to go first? And let's introduce ourselves and talk about why you decided to become a virtual assistant.
I'll go first.
Okay.
I'm always first. My name is Cindy. Before I was VA, I found myself, after being out of the workforce for about 14, 15 years, I landed one remote job, kind of got lucky there, but then the company downsized, and I was left trying to find a job. For a little while, I got a job at a deli in town. It was kind of just like try to make ends meet, and that wasn't working. And I needed something that I could do at home with my kids that used the skills that I already had. I was looking for courses online. I took a proofreading course. Everything was just wanted you to pour a bunch of money into it. And they said, here you go, here's this book. I hope you can make a business out of it. And I had no idea how to do that. And through all that Googling, I found Belinda, I found VA school. And finally, this was the one person who said, okay, here's the course and here's how to do this. But also, here's how I'm going to help you get through it. And so I didn't have to learn new skills. I didn't have to come up with a whole plan on my own. Everything that Belinda does, it works, it's proven, and I just followed the steps, and here I am.
Awesome. Who wants to go next?
I can go.
Okay.
I'm Carrie, and I live in Iowa. Before I was a VA, I was a homeschool mom and a caregiver for my mother-in-law, and I hadn't worked. I literally got married 2 weeks after I turned 18, been married for 26 years, so I hadn't worked outside the home. And so some people on here, I'm sure, have not had an administrative job. So just know that you can be a VA, even if you haven't had that. During those 20 plus years, I had other experiences in my personal life that helped me, prepared me to become a VA. And now like Cindy, I was looking for, when I learned about what a virtual assistant was, I was like, that's what I want to do. And I did some searching and came across the Kickstart Challenge and led me to Belinda.
Awesome. All right, Jen, go ahead.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jen. I'm from Michigan. And before I was a VA, I worked in corporate for 20 plus years. I supported a vice president. I did a little bit of everything in my job. I had the same job that whole time. It was a very good and secure and well-paying job. But during COVID, we all got to go home and work at home. And I experienced that and loved it. Found I was way more productive. And eventually they wanted us to all come back, and I didn't want to. So I went out on a leap of faith and left that job. And for, 9 months, I had another job. It was not as well paying of a job. It did give me the flexibility, but it just wasn't what I was looking for. And, I was kind of upset, not that I'd left my previous job, but that I wasn't finding what I wanted. And that's when Belinda's VA school showed up in my Facebook feed, and started watching her videos, and the Kickstart Challenge was going on, and it just looked like something that I could do. And I was very excited by it. I think I watched every video during that Kickstart Challenge, every interview she had with people in VA school, people who had graduated, and I could just tell it was the real deal. And so I jumped in with both feet, and that's how I ended up in VA school. I'm very happy I did.
Awesome. That's great. All right, Sandy, with your pretty yellow flowers.
Thank you. I was in corporate for 20 something years, and COVID hit just about the same time that I was leaving a job to start another job. That job went away, and I had a lot of friends who during COVID were burnt out, so I was helping them behind the scenes. Meanwhile, I'm trying to find a new job, and I realized I really love working from home. Again, like Jen said, very productive at home. And I had jobs where I was able to work remotely, but occasionally, but this is just complete heaven. I was, on Facebook during COVID, and I stumbled upon Belinda, and I thought, this is amazing. And I kept in the background just watching and listening to her story. And even though I had all the experience working in corporate for CEOs and big companies, online and how to set up a business, I had no idea what to do. And Belinda really gives you the tools to do that. And I don't regret it one bit, signing up. And now I have clients. I get paid to sit here. I get a cha-ching notification when I'm, whether I'm working or not. And I'm having a blast.
That's awesome. That's great. So let's talk a little bit about, how long it took to get clients, what that felt like, and a little bit about, you guys are all in business, less than a couple, well, not Sandy, but some of you less than a couple of years or less than a year. And, it takes a little while to trust this, that it's going to be sustainable sometimes, but talk a little bit about getting your first clients, bringing them on, and what kinds of things they wanted you to do. And why don't we go in the same order? Cindy can go first.
Okay. So my very first client was actually just a little bit before I started VA school. And that was part of what was leading me to find some kind of a business that I could create for my own. And she was just having me take her video content and make blog posts out of it. Now I have 8 clients. For some of them, I'm sending emails or creating automations. I'm project managing. I'm posting reels on Instagram. That one kind of leaked out and became the word of mouth. Oh my goodness, she can make reels on Instagram. So I do have about half my clients are those that want me to post things on social media for them and create, repurpose their content. I forgot the end of the question.
Oh, no, so did I. Whatever comes to mind is okay. As soon as something comes out of my mouth, I just started listening to you and forgot.
Okay. Well, that's what I do for my clients right now. I do have an extensive list of services that I could do, and I don't know that I'm always going to be the social media managing type, but it's working, and it's very fast-paced, and it's interesting work.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Carrie. Maybe Carrie remembers the end of the question.
So I joined VA school last April. I didn't officially announce my business until June. And so my first client I actually had before the end of June. And then I basically got one every month since, at least one. And that was just because I started networking and adding, applying all the things that I learned in VA school. And as far as things that like my first client, when we did our discovery call, she had a whole list of stuff that she wanted me to do, but she's very scatterbrained. But so we started with just invoicing, but over the last, we've almost been working together for a year now. Over that time, I've built a website, I've done, set up Honeybook and all the things in there for her. I've done data entry, I've done research and finding applications for her. And that's just for one client. Other clients, I've done some logo design and email management, like inbox, cleaning it out. My most was 102,000 emails, and we got that down to 9,000. And then she was starting to get overwhelmed because they were all disappearing out of her inbox, even though they were just archived. So we stopped for a while on that. But Then the other thing that I've been doing a lot of is a remote logging in and helping to clean up desktops and files. And people are shocked that you can do that and thrilled when they start being able to find things again. So I think the end of the question was just what we're doing to our clients.
Right. Thank you.
But so yeah, so I have a wide variety of things like Cindy that I do. So.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Jen.
I started BA school at the end of September and got my first client in December, pretty unexpectedly. I had just gone to a like business workshop about accounting, and because I wanted to learn more about business accounting, and the woman leading it, when she found out I was a VA, was super excited and hired me. And I didn't feel ready, but it was all good. I ended up announcing my business in January and I've got 8 clients total now. The sorts of things I do, for that first client, she had me like taking notes on a Zoom meeting that were a couple times a month, making fillable PDF forms, coordinating participants in a workshop, just all the email coordination and behind the scenes stuff that needs to happen for that. I've had people hire me to do websites. I've been doing a lot of those lately in Wix. The word spreads once you do one, and their friends all see it. They start calling you, so that's great. Done work in Canva, just making flyers, and you name it. Really, it's just all pretty easy stuff that that I already knew how to do.
Awesome. Sandy, go ahead.
So I had my first client before I had announced my business. I basically made the decision to become one, and then I think it was the next day, someone reached out to me that said, I need an assistant, and I know that's what you used to do. Would you be interested? And I was not prepared. It all worked out. I started doing things I had no experience doing at the time. I worked on Kajabi and on Facebook management, and I just Googled everything. And I did not, that was in November of 2020. And I didn't sign up with Belinda until January of 2021. And the types of things that I do for my clients, I do Facebook management. Again, just to back up, I have a list of services that I can do for people, but I do anything from Facebook management, website updates, creating PDFs for people, a lot of scheduling, confirming. I mean, just pretty much anything that, and the thing is even if you don't know how to do it, Belinda will tell you, just Google it and figure it out. Just be honest. And people are okay with that. They really are. You just have to relax and trust the process.
That's great. When I first started out being a VA, we were on the phone because no one had Zoom. And I used to Google things that clients were asking me in the moment. And I think one day I might have said, without thinking, let me Google that, because I wasn't telling them I was Googling. And now they'll actually wait. They're like, can you Google that? I'm like, yeah. And they'll just sit there on Zoom while they're paying me and I'm Googling for them because they don't want to have to figure it out. It's kind of funny how that works. So let's talk about money. So I guess a couple of things. What did you expect before we met that you could charge? Where did you start out and where are you now? How has that changed for you? You want to go ahead, Cindy?
Sure. Can I add something in though? Before that,
Yeah.
One thing that Sandy said is that there were things that she didn't know how to do before she started doing them, and that's one thing that really put my mind at ease, is the fact that I didn't have to know how to do everything before offering to a client, yes, I can do that. I just tell them, okay, I don't know how to do that, but if you give me a little time, I'll learn how to do it. And then, I just tell people I learn fast. So if you want me to try it out, I'll do that. And I had never made a reel before. I scrolled Instagram and I knew how to share stuff to my stories, but I was brand new to the world of reels. And now I've got 3 clients that have me make their reels for them. So it's not something that you have to know right away. Okay, so the very first client that I had, the expectations I had, I thought, oh, if I could make, $20 an hour, that's nothing to sneeze at, Minimum wage out here is about 14. At the time it was 13. And I thought, well, that's okay. And so when I first started with that first client, she offered me $20 an hour, which of course I jumped on because I was like, hey, something's going to pay for the groceries. However, when I launched my business, Belinda challenged us to think a little bigger. And so I started my rate at $40 an hour. So that's where all my clients jumped in. And my $20 an hour client has been steadily increasing her own rates. I've never asked her to increase her rates. So now she's up to being able to pay me $30 an hour. She just keeps increasing it. And then she keeps asking me if I can do more because she knows that I'm charging $40 an hour. And she says, I definitely want to pay you that. And she just has to get there because she's building her business too.
That's awesome. Awesome. We doubled the expectation.
Yeah.
Carrie, go ahead.
Yeah, so I kind of was at the same place. I was thinking $25 an hour. I'd be happy with that. But then I started doing the math out and taking taxes out. And I was like, well, that's not really that much. Minimum wage in Iowa isn't $14 an hour. It's a little lower than that too. So I still thought I was doing pretty good. And but then once I started with VA school, I was like, okay, I'll start at $35 an hour with the goal that by the end of my 6 months, which was at the time, that was how long the course was, I would be raised to $50. And I actually raised, after the first 2 clients, I just gradually raised $5 at a time. And by September, I actually did end up increasing to $50. So I made that before my October goal. And then at the end of the year, I sent a letter to all of my clients and told them my rates were raising, or I was raising my rates. So now all of my clients are at that $50 an hour. So I don't have any still at the $35.
Good for you. That's awesome. Yeah, Jen.
So when I left my corporate job, I took a pay cut for the flexibility to work at home and was kind of fine with that. And so I did that. I was making $25 an hour, which I thought was okay. It was fine with me for the flexibility. And then when I joined VA school, I kind of thought, well, I'll charge 30 to 35. And Belinda, like Cindy said, challenged us to think bigger and has an awesome resource to show you how much you need to make on a spreadsheet to hit goals. And that really kind of opened my eyes and the rates that she was telling us to charge. And so I kind of then and there decided that I was going to start at $50 an hour. And so I did. And I've had 8 clients take me up on that. And I can see in the future, I'm going to stay there for a while, but I can see the path to raising that and how it would be pretty easy to do so. So that's encouraging. I'm making more money than I thought I would be able to at this. It's amazing.
That's awesome. And $50 an hour, if you bill 40 hours a week, which that's hard to do because that's a lot of work, but that's $100,000.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. Right? Yeah. All right, Sandy, jump in.
So my first client paid me a retainer. And again, this is before I knew nothing about the debit card system. I thought this is great. It's a guaranteed, money every month. For me, it ended up not being the right thing because I would give too much of my time because there wasn't an hour really set to it. And now using the document that tracks how many hours you work and how much you want to make, I factored in what I was making when I was in corporate, and I charge $80 an hour, and clients pay it. And again, I didn't think that would happen. I thought, oh, should I have started off smaller? But really what they're paying for is the confidence in what you're doing. And if I don't know something and I have to learn it, I do not charge them for that. And I have had a client who said, that's okay that you don't know it. I want to pay you while you learn it, which Belinda had said that would happen. And I just didn't think it would for me because that's the way we think, right? It works for other people and not for neat, but it does. It really does work. Clients are super supportive, and the right people will find you.
Wow, those are great stories. Those are great stories. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, it's amazing that how much people will pay, and I think so much of it is tied to being confident enough to say that number. Say that number for sure. So, what's been the best thing about having your own business so far? What's been the best thing, like, that you're just so happy about?
I think even beyond the fact that I can stay at home, make my own hours, choose what work I want to do, I think that owning my own business has given me a lot of confidence in myself, and it reaches out to the rest of my life. And um, when you have more confidence, you're able to reach your own goals, like your personal goals and your business goals, even faster and set them higher. And I've done a lot of growing in this last few months.
Yeah, you were in a different place. You were in a very
Very
different place than
different.
that. Yeah, that's great. Carrie.
For me, I would say definitely the flexibility. I'm still caring, my kids are raised, but I'm still caring for my mother-in-law who's in her 80s, and I'm essentially on call for her because she's still in her own home, and she randomly calls me about things that don't make any sense. So I have to go into her house and figure out whether is the refrigerator really stopped working or not. And so just for me, that flexibility, to come and go if I have to. My clients, I mean, I did have to rearrange something because appointment got rearranged. My clients are all very understanding, because when we have our discovery call, I tell them, I am upfront about that she has to be my priority, and who's going to, complain about having an elderly parent you have to take care of. So far that hasn't been an issue as far as me needing to be on somebody's Zoom meeting or anything like that. But just knowing that I have understanding clients and that they're willing to work with me and that I'm available for her when needed has been a big part of why I wanted to be a VA, and it's worked out as planned.
That's awesome. And Jen.
Same as the other two ladies, really. I mean, the flexibility is amazing. I love being able to, I work in the mornings typically, and then I have the afternoons to do what I want, which is awesome. I've chosen to not work on Fridays, so it's a 3-day weekend every weekend. I love that. I love, like Cindy said, if there's something I don't want to do, I can turn it down, and that's very empowering. It has also been for me a great exercise in personal development and growth. I had no idea that it would be, but it has been just this journey of personal growth that I wouldn't trade anything for.
That's great. Yeah, it is personal development. Yeah, the crash course. Yeah, it is. Sandy.
So for me, the flexibility is tremendous. I know that even my partner and I would commute together, and even that in Boston traffic, it could be 2 hours one way. So that, to me, that one thing is my why. And the growth is tremendous. When you're in corporate, you are given the tools that you are supposed to work with. You don't get to look outside of that, and it becomes boring, quite frankly. With this, you have the opportunity to learn what you want to learn, do what you want to do, and like Belinda says, if it makes you mad, you don't have to do it. And if someone isn't working the way you like it, you can release them and not look back. Be grateful for every opportunity, but just do the work that you love doing and keep on doing you and improving upon yourself all of the time. It's just such an incredible experience.
That's great. That's great. So all of you have touched on this a little bit, but when we're doing the challenge, when I'm talking to people who are thinking about becoming VAs, a lot of them have had bad experiences with bosses in the past, and they are they're afraid that they're going to be on call. The clients are going to be, sense I get is like mean and demanding and just like snapping their fingers all the time. So can you talk about how you interact with your clients, how the work comes in, how they communicate with you, and what it feels like?
So the way my clients send me work, I feel like the clients that I have are such a broad spectrum of people, and I just let them message me whatever way is comfortable. Some of them email me, some of them send me Facebook messages. I've got some clients in other countries that use WhatsApp. Some of them send voice messages, and then I just keep track of it all in one, like I use monday.com. So I just manage my projects that way now. But they can send messages at any time, but they know that I'm only working until a certain point and I'm not working on weekends. They also know if there's like some emergency, kind of a project that they're doing and, oh my gosh, I forgot to get the thing. Can you give me a half hour on a Saturday? I might, depending on what's going on, because I care about my clients. And is that it? Did I forgot the end of the question again?
That was awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, this whole idea of people, I think, are afraid that they're going to feel trapped by their clients. So it was, how does the work come in, and how does it flow, and how does it feel? Yeah.
One thing I will say, I think that the clients, they're coming to you, they're not giving you a job, they're asking for help. And so they're more like, how do I fit into your schedule? Rather than, I want you to do this right now. I mean, maybe those clients are out there. I don't have those clients, and I'm really glad, because I'm not sure how I would handle that.
Excellent. That's great. Carrie, go ahead.
Yeah, so I send out an email after they buy their first debit card, and then in there it's spelled out that these are the days I work, these are the times that I work. I mean, like you guys probably do some work in the evenings, or I do it on the weekends, but I always schedule an email to go out the next day. I don't necessarily respond to an email at 8:00 at night and send it then. It's scheduled to go out at 8 a.m. the next day, just so that they're not expecting, oh, she replied now, so she must be working. I want to, get on a conversation. Again, like Cindy said, if it's something that, like I had a client who had a recital, she needed something updated on the program and they needed to get it printed. Yeah, I changed the tunes on it. That was no big deal. It was just a misspelling that she had sent me, and it was a quick fix, and I sent it back to her. And yeah, that was on a Saturday, but I didn't mind because but if it had taken 2 hours, and depending on what we were doing, I may have had to say no. So I would have just sent her the file and said, here, you can fix it. But yeah, in general, I've set the boundaries. My clients know when I will and won't work. And I haven't had any issues with anybody having a problem with that. I have had one that she likes to text me all of her stuff instead of sending it to me in an email. And I'd rather have, when she's asking me to do specific tasks. So that's just something that I have to remind her of often. So I'm not having to transfer it from two for her, because sometimes it's email and sometimes it's that, but she'll have half the conversation in an email and half in a text. So I just remind her that, hey, could you send that to me in an email? And usually she does, no problem. So that's just making sure that I just have to remind her, and I'm not going to fire her because of it. But if it becomes an issue, then I know how, because of VA school, how to go about that. So.
Excellent. Jen.
Yeah, one of the things we learn in VA school is boundaries and how important they are. And just knowing that before having clients, I think sets you up for success, so that bad habits don't develop. And same as Carrie, I send a letter out to my clients when they come on as a client, and it spells out the days I work, the hours I work, how to contact me. Also says don't text me, because I don't, that's just a bad way to receive stuff. And they're all pretty good about it. There's one client who is a little, she pushes the boundaries, but you just have to hold the boundaries, and it's not a big deal, and even to the point, I've been talking with this gentleman, had a discovery call with him, and he's been on the fence about hiring me, and we've gone back and forth over the last couple weeks. And he emailed me on Saturday and said he wanted to get started, and could we meet on Monday? And I waited till Monday morning to reply to him because I don't want to get off on the wrong foot with him, that I reply on Saturdays. So it's just about knowing the boundaries and keeping them, and it goes pretty smoothly.
Awesome. Yeah. And Sandy.
So in the corporate world, I was 24/7. I did it. And when I initially started off with my first client, I kept that up. Again, had not entered Belinda's world yet. I learned rather quickly that how important boundaries are. I just wasn't used to them because of, working all those years in corporate. And my other clients are not like that. I did end up having to release the client that was like that. And initially I blamed myself because I gave her all of me. So really you as a VA have control over your schedule. I think the onboarding template that Belinda provides that has been mentioned is so important to send out, that explains when you're working, when you're not, how best to give you work. I have my clients just email me, and I also let them know if you have an absolute emergency, please text me. And the reason that I ask them to do that is if I'm head down on another client's work and I'm batching my work and they have something that, they need something done right away. And I will tell you that happens extremely rarely. And they are so appreciative and they apologize. I know you're probably busy. I have this thing. Can you handle this? And because they're so appreciative, you don't mind. You just close out what you're working on, you handle it, and then you go back to business. And they are so grateful. And it makes you feel good that you're really making a difference in somebody's business. They're trusting you to, do whatever it takes to get their work done, and that you're responsive to them. I mean, so I would not say that you're tied to, I guess, again, it would depend on the type of client that you pick. If you have to be at your desk at, all of the time, but it's all what you want to do as the business owner. You make your hours, you determine what work you want to do and when you want to do it.
Fabulous. Like, who wouldn't want to do this? You guys are making it sound so great, right? It is. I love it. I love this work. So I'll just ask you, is there anything that you want to say that I didn't ask a question about, or, something that comes to mind, or a message you want to give to anyone who's thinking about this and just wondering, what if this is for them?
Absolutely. The one thing I feel like we didn't cover is some of the unexpected benefits of VA school itself. Because like I said in the beginning, I found courses, and even if you can get like a strategy session or something with the person who makes the course, you're like, yay, I got the thing, and then you're still on your own. But not only in VA school do you have Belinda, who's like the really cool aunt that will kick you in the butt when you're not doing things right. But when she's kind of like, pushing you out of the nest and saying, you can do this, and I'm still right here for you. But beyond that, the people that I was in VA school with have become friends. And I have like this huge circle of people that I guess I don't even know how to describe it. It's beyond what I ever expected. It's a real group of people, and you really get to know each other just in those little study halls.
Awesome. Thank you. Carrie.
Yeah, I agree. The community and the people that you meet within your VA school class is just amazing. I too have a group of us that we have a Facebook group, and we'll bounce ideas now that VA school is over for us, that we'll still be like, hey, has anybody used this, or, get opinions or share different jobs. So if there's something that I was offered, but it's not something I can do or I don't want to do, then I could say, hey, anybody interested in this, in the smaller group there. But as far as if you're still thinking about doing VA school and you haven't joined yet, do it. It was the best thing that I could have done for my business. I'm thankful that I learned of it right when I decided I wanted to be a VA. So I wasn't struggling those first few months. It gave me the best foundation. It gave me all the steps from the, how do you do, do I need an LLC? Do I need all those things that when you're starting at your own business, but then all the things throughout it. I mentioned firing a client. So, from the beginning, setting up stuff, but then also while you're in your business and the best ways to run it and grow it. And you're constantly learning through the VA school, whether it's or from the VIP, from the study halls, because the people are asking questions that you may not even know that you had, and you're getting answers. And sometimes Belinda doesn't know the answer, but she's always willing to look it up while we're right there, or somebody else in the study hall knows. And so you're always learning. So if you do sign up, that is my biggest thing. And I know I said it in the typed out testimony I did, but make sure you attend at least one study hall a week live, because it's completely different than watching a replay, because you're going to get a whole lot more out of it. If you can't make all 3 of them, do at least one. So if you're on the fence, come on over, because you won't regret it.
Thank you. Awesome. Jen.
I will say that I without VA school, I would not have been able to do what I've done. There's just no way. I wouldn't have had the confidence, and I wouldn't have known the steps to take, and just the information that's given is out of this world as far as how to set up the business and how to handle situations that come up. Echoing some of the other things the ladies are saying, I mean, the access to Belinda is unmatched. I tried to go to every study hall just because they were amazing and I learned so much. And Carrie is right. It's great to be able to be there in person if you can. But just having that access almost every day to Belinda to ask questions is amazing. And then the community is also just unexpected benefit. I also met lifelong friends, and we talk all the time, bounce ideas off each other, just check in with each other. And there is support even after VA school that you can continue. It's not like you graduate and you're on your own. There's ongoing support if you want it. So it is just, I can't say enough about the program. It seems like a lot of money, but it is so worth it. And even my husband, I mean, he was supportive of me joining VA school, but he has said so many times, I'm so glad you joined that, and that, all you got out of it and the people you met. So it's totally worth it.
Thank you. Sandy.
So, like everyone has mentioned here, the community is incredible. It's what you see with Belinda is exactly what you get. Her authenticity is like nobody that I've come across in the online world with courses. Like someone else mentioned, you sign up for a course and then the person that's running it, you never hear from them. They schedule calls that they're going to be there for you, and then the calls are canceled. That does not happen with Belinda. And the way that everyone cheers each other on, like there's no, what's the word, like going like this with work. People,
Competition.
Right, there's no competition. People are generally excited for each other. If somebody, has a discovery call, it's not for them, they share, and somebody else who has the skill set is there. Someone's having a problem, they're there for you. Belinda always, it's astounding to me how much she can jump in, because she's one person with a lot of people, but if she's not right there, somebody else in the group is, and it's just an incredible bonus to the entire thing. Like I promise you, it would be nothing that you would regret. It would be the best thing that you do for your business.
Yeah. And you guys are a sample of that community, right here, your willingness to be here today and to talk about this with everyone. And that was the thing that surprised me the most. When we did VA school for the first time, I was watching, I'm like, wow, these people are becoming friends. And when you guys, people, those students back then would say, I'll just jump on a Zoom or we can practice together. And I was like, wow, okay, that's cool. And then it happened the second time and I thought, okay, that's twice. And then the third time it happened, I just started telling people, you're going to make friends. You're going to make friends, because we've had 12 groups go through VA school, and every single time people they stay connected and support each other. So you don't have to do it alone. You don't have to do it alone. Well, I'm going to say this. If you would like to join me, I would love to hold out my hand and help you get your VA business off the ground. You can sign up, get more information at vaschool.info. I'm going to put my cell phone number up really quickly. Hold on, let me find it. Here it is. If you want to text me or WhatsApp me, if you have any questions, smallest little tiny question is just a little niggly thing. You just want to make sure it's going to be okay with your situation. Just shoot me a text or a WhatsApp, and I will jump on a Zoom or a call or just text with you, whatever you want to do. So a big round of applause for these ladies. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I really appreciate all of your insights and everything you bring to the community. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Belinda.